Our next guest, who has joined me on stage, has been flying drones since he was in 5th grade. UND student Jerry Fuller is a member of the UAS Remote Control Club. He joins us now to discuss his research and the evolution of the UND Drone Club. Welcome, Jerry. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's a great time.
And drones have been a part of your life since 5th grade. What sparked this interest at such a young age?
So it's not something that typically someone that young would get into just because it's not exactly the cheapest of all hobbies. But growing up, I was in Boy Scouts. I'm actually an Eagle Scout. And we're on with our leaders. We were at a Camp Inn, which is like an indoor camp out. We were staying at National Guard Armory, and they had these little remote control planes, and I asked to fly one, and that kind of spiraled into an out of control, kind of fun hobby. Started off, I just built them out of basic materials like hot glue and foam board you can buy from Dollar Tree, and worked my way up from there.
Nice. And when you came to UND, you got involved with the UAS RC club. The club was in a transition period, and how has it evolved since then?
Yeah, so I really showed up for the end of that transition period. I'm a sophomore this year, so last year we had only about 10 active members really in the club, and our meetings on average was 4 or 5 of us would show up. This year we really took off. We did a lot of outreach at the beginning of this school year, and we actively have 20 to 30 additional people now on top of the 10 we already had showing up to our meetings, coming out to our events, and having a great time. And we're open to everyone who comes. We allow everyone to get some time to try stuff out and gain some experience.
Nice. And last spring, the team hosted the National Collegiate Drone Racing Championships here at UND, and you were a part of that. What did it take for the team to actually host that event?
So yeah, CDRC, or as you said, the Drone Racing Championship, has a lot that goes into it. There was, from the days leading up, we met out with HB Sound and Light over at the High Performance Center. We were building the big trusses to get all the netting and all that up because these drones fly at the upwards of 100 miles an hour. There's a lot of safety precautions that we have to put in place to make sure it's a safe event, good for spectators. So we spent the time getting the safety netting up, building the course, and decorating the venue as well, and getting ready for the other teams.
Nice, and I was there, I saw the setup, it was absolutely amazing. And seeing the drones fly at over 100 miles per hour in a closed facility was absolutely stunning. But you don't just fly drones, you actually build them. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so drones, I mean, a lot of people, you go to the store, you see like the ones you buy at Best Buy, those are good, but you can also, part of the big thing with the drone racing hobby is these drones aren't bought off the shelf. These are all custom hand built, so that's, we're picking components from different suppliers, and we're physically building them, soldering, getting all the electronics hooked up and programmed in so we're able to race these and tune these and make them the best that they can be.
Nice. You're also involved with a group called the Research Institute for Autonomous Systems, otherwise known as RISE. Tell us about your role and involvement with RISE and what you do there.
Yeah, so RISE is a local research institute we have here on campus, and we do a wide variety of stuff, from providing FAA certified pilots for maybe if a student group has a research project they're working on and they need pilots, all the way to building custom aircraft for anyone who reaches out to us and needs them. And we just do a wide variety of work to help people, and also do some stuff with different research and projects.
And speaking of research, you're involved in other research as well. I know that you were recently in Nome, Alaska, involved in some research efforts. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so we were up in Nome. We had an aircraft with us which had, these are going to be some big words, a LiDAR sensor, a multispectral sensor, and an electro-optical sensor. And a thermal sensor. So what we were doing up there is we were doing climate research in permafrost environments, and we were scanning roads and infrastructure up there to see how climate change and all that's going to affect the infrastructure over the coming years. So we know how to properly build the infrastructure in the future to help withstand some of these changing conditions.
Nice. And while you were in Nome, Alaska, I heard there was an interesting weather event, namely a typhoon.
Yeah, so normally, or beforehand, we looked at the weather, and we just saw rain in the forecast. We're like, okay, just a little bit of rain, big deal, we'll work around it. We get into the plane, so we flew from Anchorage to Nome. We get off the plane, and we're waiting for, my research manager went to go get the car, and we're talking with people in the airport. They're like, you guys are so lucky, this is the last plane that's gonna make it in for a few days. We suggest you go to the store and stock up on supplies, and we're like, what's this about? We get a look around. There's no cell service. We had no cell service up there either because we're in the middle of pretty much nowhere. And Typhoon Merbach had just swept through Japan. The remnants of it were coming up, and we were going to get hit dead center by it. And from what we heard from the locals, it was the worst storm they've had in over a century. And lucky for us, our hotel was on the Bering Sea. So we're sitting here the night before the storm hits, and it's just winds are howling. It's pouring with rain. And you look out, and you just see the sea crashing up on the sea break. We wake up in the morning, and it was honestly kind of devastating. There was entire roads that were just missing. Some houses actually were floating down a river, and it was not honestly the best situation. Like I said, the city was underwater. There was also fire in the flood. That was an interesting thing, and we did our best we could. We let the local authorities know we were there and offered to help if they needed anything.
Nice. Well, adds to the excitement of your
Yeah.
experience, but it sounds like a great trip from a research perspective, and lending a helping hand is always a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, I see that you brought some stuff with you.
Yeah, so I brought a drone with to fly. Have you ever flown a drone before?
Yesterday, and I crashed twice.
Okay, so maybe...
Let's give it a shot right here in front of 400 people.
Yeah, so maybe I'll stick with the drone. If you maybe want to... Yeah.
No,
good stuff
I'm
here.
up for it. Come on, let's go. Oh, my goodness. You go first.
I'll go first? Okay. So if I crash it, then you don't have to fly it.
Yeah.
So this is called, we call these whoops. These are what we fly indoors in the winter for drone racing, mainly because the big ones go a little fast for us to safely fly indoors here. So these are what we have kind of for fun time. We can fly these around in classrooms and all that in various halls. Go for it.
All right. There we go. Hey, let's try. Take off.
Yeah, hold it out.
This will
flat
work
in
a
the
little
palm of your
better, right?
hand.
I have an idea. Ready?
Ready?
You ready? I'm ready. I can steer. There we go. All right, see if you can land it in my hand. There we go. Jerry, thanks so much.
You're welcome.